Hi, I'm Stephanie Musk. We're here in Miami, Florida at IT Expo Miami 2013, and today I am joined by Erik Levitt, CEO of Open Data Centers. Erik, thanks so much for being here.
It's a great pleasure to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about the company.
Open Data Centers is a carrier-neutral co-location facility. We opened our first facility in Piscataway, New Jersey. Our model is actually to take single-tenant data centers in fiber-rich, power-rich areas, and as the tenant wants to downsize or leave the data center, turn that data center into a carrier-neutral colo facility, so repurpose it. It has the benefit of having facilities which are smaller than facilities than some of our partners are building, which makes them much more efficient.
Sure.
But having an infrastructure that is much more powerful than you could typically build for a carrier-neutral co-location facility, it would destroy the pricing model. So it has the benefit of giving our customers a seasoned data center with usually 2 N facilities, beyond N+1, but at a price point that's substantially lower than if it were a greenfield build.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of buzz around the term of the cloud. So, I mean, maybe let's start by defining it. What exactly is the cloud?
It's very important to understand what the cloud is. I was reading an article there was a blog actually on a very reputable web hosting chat site, and the blogger wrote, "The cloud is here, the data center is dead." That's interesting because we really need to understand what the cloud is. At its core, the cloud is servers in a data center with high volume internet access and some form of software running on them, whether it's scaling software or virtualization software with a purpose to deliver an application to a customer. But the cloud begins with the data center itself. Because the data center is the foundation of the power for that system, the environmentals for that system, and where the cloud gets its access to the public internet.
And because of these cloud services, I mean, the data center just continues to change and to have to be that support system.
Absolutely. If anything, the cloud doesn't kill the data center, it expands it substantially.
It empowers it, sure.
Yes, because now you have applications that you have the willingness of the customers to allow those applications to move from their offices where their systems and their data are unprotected to these very powerful protected systems which can be redundant, which can be diverse. And the reason that's important to understand what the cloud is from a commercialization and a retail perspective is to understand what those components are in selecting your cloud service provider.
So let's talk a little bit about how you make that a reality for your customers.
Our facilities are, again, in very high power density, high fiber rich areas. And that's very important because if you're a cloud provider, you need to have redundancy. Sandy brought to bear a lot of interesting issues where you had customers in facilities that were believed to be bunkers, that were believed to be impenetrable, like 111 8th Avenue or 60 Hudson Street in New York, that were down. Yep. They couldn't get fuel because the trucks physically couldn't get to those facilities. So first is this understanding that any facility can go down. And we urge our customers to work, as they build their clouds, to work in multi-data center environments. But that said, if you're going to separate the systems, you need connectivity between those data centers, and that has to be powerful. So if you locate part of your cloud in a facility with poor communications, your pricing model falls apart because your cost of internet becomes very high. You need to be in power-wealthy areas because individual power facilities can fail.
Right.
So you want to have multiple facilities into your data center. And as a consumer, it's important to understand the infrastructure behind your cloud computing provider. Just as when we used to outsource, we wanted to understand our outsourcers' technical capabilities or their personnel or their language skills. Now it's important as we outsource to the cloud to understand the capabilities of the cloud provider and what has that cloud provider done in building their infrastructure that will make their cloud valuable and that will make their cloud robust.
Absolutely. So, I mean, building on that, as things continue to change and the industry progresses, where do you see things going, and kind of how does Open Data Centers prepare to be, on the cusp of the new trends and challenges that have to be overcome in the industry?
We're looking at additional facilities, of course. We started our first facility in Piscataway. We're actively looking at facilities in the Southwest and the West. and also in the Midwest as well, so that we can provide customers redundant locations. So we already do through our partners, and we're going to be adding additional facilities as we go forward to prepare for that need for robust systems. We also continue to need to attract carriers into our facility. We already have fiber from most of the incumbent providers in the area, such as Synesis and Zayo, FiberTech, are all moving into our facilities. And then as we build additional facilities, we need to make sure that those providers are set to scale as data growth increases. We're starting to see now 10 gigabit becoming the standard between the data centers. And people are preparing for 100 gigabit or 400 gigabit, and soon that the big T word, terabit, is going to start to appear, and it already has in equipment, in fact. So all of these scalability aspects need to be built into the plan that the data center has going forward. And as the cloud service providers choose their data centers, they need to be aware of the recovery capabilities, the communications capabilities, the power capabilities, the upgrade capabilities of each facility.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I really appreciate you clarifying the cloud and the future of the data center as a whole. So thanks so much for being here today, Erik.
Thank you very much.
Always
a
pleasure to have you on the show.
Bye-bye.